Welcome to the Q.A.C. Team Podcast, your quality assurance consulting team. Quality is our highest priority for your business with one goal, one direction, success. And now here's your host, Charles Luttrell. Good afternoon, listeners. My guest today is Mariquita Solis, a vegan empowerment coach. Good afternoon, Mariquita. How are you?
I'm doing good, Chuck. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time and interviewing on the podcast today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So tell our audience a little more about who you are and what exactly that you do.
So I'm a vegan empowerment coach, and I work with vegans that are struggling in anger, sadness, and depression, really to heal themselves and be really good advocates for animals and our planet. So I became a vegetarian in 95 and switched to veganism after a while and back and forth kind of. And during my time of looking at animals and the planet and the way of eating, I finally stayed vegan. I made a very big commitment to that. And I don't know when it was, but it was my journey. And I was also working on coaching, and I actually did a little challenge about niche, and vegan coaching came up as my niche. And about a year and a half ago, I switched over, and it's been amazing. I really feel like I'm in alignment with my life and helping vegans to love everyone and not hate. I mean, because for me, veganism is about loving everyone and doing less harm as I can. So that's really in alignment with my life. And I feel happy every day when I get up that I'm making a difference on this earth.
Right. So what's the difference between vegetarian and vegan? The two?
Well, vegans don't consume dairy.
Okay.
So that is a big difference, yes.
Yes. Yeah, big difference. Right. Now, why did you choose, you talked about, you said this was your path and you felt this was something you wanted to do. So give us a little more detail about how you came about. What was your path like? What's your journey like to get to where you are today?
Okay, well, I was first of all, I used to think vegans were crazy. I thought first I didn't even know what vegans were.
Me too. Me too. All you vegetarians and vegans are crazy, right?
Right. Yeah. I used to tell my friend in college that was vegetarian that he was going to be, I just thought, gosh, he's going to be sick. He just told, what in the hell was he thinking? Right.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so this wasn't something that the first time I heard it, I was like, yay. No. So my brother, in 95, he said, I want you to see this little video. It was a 3-minute video, Meet Your Meat by Alec Baldwin. It was a PETA video. And I saw it and I was horrified I'm an animal lover, right? And then my stomach was just turning at the factory farming. There was only 3 minutes, and I still can't forget some of those images that I saw. Just haunted me forever. And that's when I thought, this is terrible. I've got to make a change. And then, so that was the beginning of my path, but also exploring and learning more about animals. There was another documentary that really helped me move to veganism. It was A Peaceable Kingdom, and it was farm animals that had been rescued. And I saw the udders of cows that were basically almost dragging on the ground from just this continually being milked. I can't imagine that, right? And so that was like, okay, well that's not normal, and I don't want to be a part of that, right? So that's what I mean. That really helped me move forward on the journey, but also I struggled with food addictions. I mean, our processed food is very addictive. And so I struggled with that for many years, trying to break these food addictions. And right now I'm working with We Did It Health, and that's whole food, plant-based. So I'm also on another area of my journey to eating the natural foods from the earth and leaving these processed foods behind. So really eating whole food, grains, rice and beans, vegetables and fruits and natural sugars like dates. Sometimes I can just have one date, which seems crazy, I think, just to have one date when I could eat a whole bag of candy and the one date satisfies me. So things change.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know when I was in my workout phase years ago, I was able to eat a square of chocolate a day. How did I do that?
That's like,
And it was
what?
the dark chocolate too, right? It's like just a square a day. How did I do that?
Well, that mindless eating is just like you can just finish off two or three things of chocolate. I mean, two or three chocolate bars if you're just watching TV. You know.
That is absolutely correct. We as humans get suckered into these TV shows and whatever else we do, and we're just mindless eating. Absolutely.
Right. And that's
And
one thing I'm working on now too is the mindfulness of in all parts of my life. So
I want to talk about that because I know one of your things here is it's effective communication and self-confidence, things like that. So let's talk a little bit about your program overall, what you do and how you help people. How do you bring people together, and what's your program like?
so I have one-on-one coaching for vegans or whole food plant-based people that are struggling with communication and really speaking from confidence. A lot of my clients they struggle with this perfectionism and I'm not enough. So that's the foundation, and when that's the foundation, you're not going to be an effective communicator for yourself or for the planet or for the animals. So it's about really building a foundation of confidence and strength where, like, I go to bed at night in peacefulness because I know that I'm doing what's in alignment with my life, and it's not dependent on someone else's response. If I go out there and I do a rodeo protest and people laugh at me, that's fine. I've done what's in alignment with my life, and it doesn't
Mhm.
matter. So I that's what I'm teaching my clients, that our peacefulness is not dependent on outside sources. It's dependent on ourselves. We have to empower ourselves and we live in alignment with our lives. We celebrate what we're doing and we allow ourselves to be imperfectly perfect on the road of life, learning from our experiences, and we accept that we're going to fall down, but we're not going to stay down for the count. We're going to fail quickly, get up, and move forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now you have let's talk about your website a little bit. Your website, and you have your Facebook group, and you do YouTube videos. Let's talk about a little bit how you communicate to people and what you specifically talk about.
Well, I talk about in communication, I talk about listening. Listening is the most important thing. We have to understand where the person is. And as for vegans, if you're really wanting to make an impact on someone else, we can't just go and shove facts down their throat, or we have to know if the person is interested in hearing our story or interested at all. So
Uh-huh.
listening is crucial. We have to build a rapport. I mean, this is in everyday life, not just vegan conversations, but if we want to have good relationships, we have to have healthy rapport and to be willing to hear everyone's perspective with respectfulness. And we don't have to agree, but we can be respectful and kind and understand. It's about acceptance. We have to accept people where they are and realize that maybe not everyone's going to be a vegan, and I can go to sleep knowing that, because again, it doesn't depend, my peacefulness does not depend on other people. It depends on how I show up in my life.
Uh-huh. I
So
like that.
um yes, and I don't know if I even answered a question, but my YouTube channel is, I have a lot of conversations every week with vegans or whole food plant-based influencers and experts on how they on their journey and how they can help us learn to be better communicators and to talk about their fields. So my live streams right now are Thursdays at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on my YouTube channel, Mariquita Solis, Vegan Empowerment Coaching. And so I learned so much from these conversations.
Uh-huh.
And I think, I mean, the part of life is just learning every day. And I'm excited to get up and see what's new.
Right. And I like what you do because, you're not just about trying to shove being a vegan down someone's throat or save the planet down someone's throat. You're looking at it from a holistic approach of, hey, we do these things and we can help ourselves and save the planet.
Right. Exactly. And would you like to know more? And that's your choice, Chuck.
See,
If you want to know more.
exactly. See, you nailed it. When you talk that way and you try to put out there, what you're about, what you're trying to do. So Mariquita is, I'm a vegan. I love the earth. I want to try to save the planet. And here are some of the things that I do. Would you like to know more? Would you like to join me? Follow my channel, follow my YouTube channel, go to my website. You have all this information, and people who are into this can join your group, listen to what you have to say, and be part of this movement.
Exactly. And whenever they're ready, maybe you're not ready today, but maybe next week you'll say, hey, I remember this, and I'm kind of interested in eating more plants. Maybe let me reach out to her today. So it's all good. Everyone's on
Right.
their own.
Right. See, that's important, right? Everybody's on their own journey, right? No two people are alike. There are thousands of vegans and vegetables, but they're all on their own separate path. But they can all come together and still help and talk with each other. That's important.
Yeah, and that's what I
You know?
really want my clients to understand. That I mean, they say that we don't have time to wait. The planet's dying. Well, forcing people does the opposite. So
As we
we have
found
to
out, right?
right.
That is
So
so
yeah,
true.
we
Right.
have to accept, right? So that's, and that's a big struggle for my clients. They don't, a lot of times they're just like, I failed, I came home, nobody listened to me. And the thing is, it's all about planting seeds. Most people are not going to just say, okay, well, I listened to the podcast, now I'm going to be vegan. It's that's not the way it works. We're here to plant a seed and see what happens. Maybe it won't grow, maybe the time's not right, but that's okay. Maybe someone else down the road, they want to know about veganism, and here I am.
Right. Can you give us an example of one of your clients that came to you, started out as, hey, they want to learn more, and then who went through the process and what that process looked like up until now when they are full aware of what is happening and how they're helping themselves and the planet?
Sure. A lot of my clients are people that just went vegan and they're struggling with all the emotions. And so I had a young lady that came to me and she really was fighting her family and crying and just feeling sick, posting stuff I mean, posting a lot of graphic stuff and then losing friends. And so working with her, just showing her the most effective ways to communicate is usually not, or I don't even really, I don't ever post anything graphic. That if I want to have people on my pages, they're not going to stay. So she worked on that. She worked on getting on online fights with people,
Uh-huh.
and and allowing her family to be who they are, and just going and really trying to be just not about advocating to the family. That's the worst place. we that's the hardest place. The family is full of underlying dynamics, and so to let that go. So she was able to do that, and then to get all this stuff out of her way. So she's worked on doing some polls, and at the end of the journey together, she had put together polling and was getting these polls out to people to see how what people really thought about veganism and how to help the movement. And so, yeah, now she's recommended me to many, many more vegans, and she's living in such a much more peaceful place. And I see her out there doing protests and smiling and being proud of herself. That was one thing that she wasn't doing, is because it was always, I'm not enough. It's not enough. So I see the big change in her, and it's beautiful.
Uh-huh. That's great. Now, when you first started your journey with this, what were some of the challenges that you faced or you're faced with in your journey?
In the vegan journey,
Yeah, when you first started, going in this direction, what were some of the challenges that you were faced with?
Well, I felt sick at night, just like most vegans when they first become vegan. I felt sick. I couldn't sleep because those images were haunting me. And I thought, what in the world? How am I living in this place, this world, this cruel world? And what can I do? And why is no one listening to me? So it was very, very challenging to not hate my family that wouldn't listen, and to not to continually tell them that how horrible they are, at the dinner table, or why don't you care? That was a huge challenge for me. And I had to navigate that by myself and really I turned off a lot of people, a lot of friends and family. They don't want to hear it. I mean, they want to just enjoy their meals.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm
Right.
coming to acceptance that everybody's not ready. That's the challenge, just like my clients, right? But I put my foot in my mouth so many times and probably turned off people. But
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, with the challenge really also was sleeping at night with these horrendous images that I had discovered, and not being able to, feeling like I couldn't do anything about it. At that point, I was just trying to struggle. I'm struggling just to survive and get out of the depression so I could make a difference in this world.
Right. Yeah, I think that's important, right? That everybody's different and not everybody is going to follow what you're following. And at some point, we have to understand that that's okay, right? We can't hold everybody accountable for if they don't want to be what you are, right? I mean, that sounds like that was one of your biggest challenges was when you first started doing this, it hit you hard and it whole new direction of like waking up to what is really something you don't want to deal with, right? Is these harming of animals and not wanting to eat these certain things.
Right. And it's a hard pill to swallow. I
Yeah.
mean, even thinking about it now, I want to say, why in the world can't everyone be vegan? Why can't they see it? But I mean, it's a fact of life. Everybody has different likes. Some people care more about the environment. They don't care. People have said, I don't care about animals. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what do you mean? I mean, that I could allow that to hurt me, or I could allow that to be a lesson, to be like, well, tell me what like a discovery process. And that's what it is in my
Mm-hmm.
coaching program. It's a discovery about what do people really care about. And if we really want to spread this word, then we've got to find out, what are they interested in? Health? Are they interested in the planet? Or are they not interested in anything that we're interested in? And then it's okay. It's all okay. There's no right and wrong. There's no good, bad. It's an experience, and it's navigating that experience.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because that I think that's important. Is not everybody is the same, and while you have your views, I have my views, and the world has their views, and everybody will make their decisions on how they feel they want to live their lives.
Exactly. And I can imagine that there could be vegans listening to me right now and saying, what is she talking about? They're probably getting angry at me, because I have had people get mad when I say everybody's on their journey.
Yeah.
But that's a fact. It's not what I want, right, for the planet, but that's a
Right.
fact. And I've accepted that. And there's no point in getting up and fighting everyone every day, because it's not good for my mental health. It's not good for the planet. It's not good for other people. And it's not good for the animals.
Yeah, that's great because like everything you start out with is you're moving from helplessness and into peace with action, and you're celebrating Mother Earth and living beings, and you're all about love. So you're not trying to battle people who don't have your views, and I think that's important, that you are just trying to reach as many people as you can, but also without harming other people and causing a ruckus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, yeah, because like, so many vegans are out there to shame people. And then if you shame someone, they're not going to listen. Oh, yeah, well, I won. They were ashamed. What did you win, really? You won that they don't want to hear the message. And so you didn't win, because the animals still suffer because they don't want to hear the message. So the shaming is horrendous.
Yeah, like the one that sticks out in my mind is the grocery stores and the milk aisle. Those people were protesting the milk, and people were trying to buy milk, and they were blocking them. Do you remember that?
Oh, well, I've seen that a lot. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
When was, yeah, was this something recently?
No, that was probably a good 6, 7, 8 years ago
Oh,
when
okay.
it was in the news. It's been a while. I haven't really heard much about that recently, but that's what sticks out in my mind when people start talking about protesting the animals and their feelings. The first thing come to my mind was, oh my God, all the people in the milk aisle. It
Oh,
was it
that's
was
very
horrible.
interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting. I mean, it's very interesting to talk to someone that's not vegan to see what their perspective is. And we have to hear that and acknowledge it and respect it. So thank you.
yeah, and that's what your coaching program does, right? So let's say someone like me who has no clue about vegan and vegetarianism, but I go through your coaching program and you teach me and you coach me on what views that could or could not be um, subjective to that kind of information, right? Like the milk incident.
Well, my coaching program is really for vegans, but I coach anyone. If you're a pre-vegan, you want to know about veganism, sure, I'd love to coach you. Into gentleness. Like, hey, here's what if you're interested in being a vegan, let's take it slowly.
Right.
We talk it out, and how does that benefit your life, right?
Hmm.
So, looking at the whole picture. So
Right.
yeah, that's exciting.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit. So do you do seminars? Do you do like speeches, or do you just only do one on one, or do you do group?
I do group coaching and I do one-on-one coaching, but I have a on my YouTube. I go live a lot, and I do have some workshops that I have, and seminars. Yes, I'm working on the next group coaching program, so I'm going to have a 3-day challenge coming up to help people get in line with, like, what do you want to do? I mean, as an activist, what's your goal as an activist in this next 3 months?
Hmm.
How can we make this happen instead of just sitting on the sidelines? Unless we schedule something, it's not going to happen. So,
That is true,
what
right?
can we get on the
Yeah.
schedule?
Yeah, that is true. A lot of people, and me included, I get those, I don't call them lazy spells anymore. I call them the inactive phases, to where you have things to do, you have goals, but you tend to not move on them because, well, it's just not what I want to do at that moment.
Right. No, I know what you're right. I've been thinking about making um, evergreen program for the longest time. And today I said, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this every single day. So I'm
Hmm.
proud to say that I did an hour work on it, shot a little video. And what's been holding me back from that? Not having it scheduled and not making the commitment. So,
Hmm.
it's time to take life seriously, and because there's a lot of lollygagging if I don't put it on the calendar.
Right, right. So let's talk about the connection part. So how do you want people to reach out to you, to our listeners who are listening, and they want to come and hear what you have to say and listen to your coaching, or have you coach them one on one, how and to make that happen?
Well, you can go to my website, mariquitasolis.com, and there's a sign up link there. My scheduler's there. You can find me on Facebook. That's mainly where I am. And I'd love it if you join my Empowered Vegans Voices of Strength group on Facebook. Um, so I'm all over the place there. Just Google my name and you'll find me, and reach out to me, DM me, do what it takes. And I would love to talk to, if you just want to have a conversation, to chat. I love to talk to vegans and pre-vegans. I love talking to people. I'm a people person. So
So what I'll do is I'll put the link to your Facebook group into the show notes for you. That way people can just click on that right there
sounds good. Thank
and
you.
get on your group. Absolutely. Well, Mariquita, it was very great talking to you. I've actually learned a little bit, about a different perspective of, from the holistic approach of veganism, and not just about the food part, because I think when you hear vegan, all you think about is just the food. Well, you eat this, you only eat that. But what I've learned from you is that it's a more holistic approach, you know, a bigger picture, not just from the food standpoint. And I appreciate you, attacking it from that angle.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a bigger thing. Do no harm. Do
Right.
as little harm as you can. So
Right. Right. Trying to protect the earth as best as we can. Right.
Right, exactly.
Absolutely. Well, do you want to have anything else that you want to say? Anything else you want to add to the conversation?
Well, thank you. I learned a lot from you, and you're talking about the milk protests, and your thoughts on that, and I think it's been beautiful conversation. So thank you, Chuck.
Oh, absolutely. I definitely will join your group, and I would love to get involved more in your conversations because I think there's a lot to be said, about how people live their lives and what we can do to save the planet. What little each of us has the involvement in. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, every day we make choices to help or hurt the planet. So let's stick together and help our beautiful Mother Earth. So thank you.
Absolutely. Well, Mariquita, thank you so much for coming on and interviewing on my podcast. And I'll get everything up in the show notes for the link for everybody, listeners, to follow you and hear what you have to say and possibly, join in and be coached with you.
Sounds good. Thanks,
All right.
Chuck.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
You too. Bye bye.
Thank you. Take care. You've been listening to the Q.A.C. Team podcast with your host, Charles Luttrell. Connect with us on the web at qacteam.com, Facebook and Instagram at qac.team. Thanks for listening.